Hey, I'm Chris, and this is Beyond Small Talk, where each episode I sit down with someone from all walks of life to explore thought provoking questions, uncover new perspectives, and share fresh insights meant to inspire others. My guest today is a graduate of Mars Hill University, former Healthy Living Director with the YMCA, and a former personal trainer, Mr. Stephen Bomar. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
He's also a dad and a husband.
Yeah.
What is your educational background in health and fitness?
I went to school for business administration, so nothing to do with health and fitness. Finished my core classes early, so I needed some elective classes and took several fitness-related classes at Mars Hill, just to have easy classes that I didn't have homework in and I didn't have to do extra stuff. So I actually took a personal training class while I was at Mars Hill, got certified through the class, and kind of before that I was already interested in fitness and working out and had done several off the books, just like personal training, workout partner types things.
Right.
And then through the class I took, got actually certified through that, which started my personal training career
Journey there.
Yeah. And so after I graduated, I enjoyed personal training and then went straight into that. Doing that, I actually worked at the YMCA in Marion first, and then went down to Florida and did that full time for a little over a year. Then came back and been doing it part time pretty much since.
Since then.
Yeah.
When you took over as the director, was that still with Marion or Mitchell?
I was the membership director in Marion, and then then I came to Spruce Pine, did the Healthy Living Director there. So two very different roles and with different organizations, so different associations. So was left the Asheville Association and then came to the Avery Association,
Right.
YMCA.
Well, you kind of talked or touched on it a little bit. Did you focus on specific areas, or do you still have any certifications as far as pertaining to personal training?
My group exercise certification might still be active. I don't use it. And my personal training certification is not active anymore, because I'm not doing it right now.
Right.
But I have some certifications that I know are still active, but those are from Healthy Living Director type stuff that are not personal training specific.
Right. How did you approach creating workout plans for the clients that you served?
I think there's very general things that are good for everybody. So there's kind of a baseline of these are the type of things that people should be doing.
Such as?
So like a squat. A squat is kind of the baseline for everybody. Sits down in a chair and gets up every single day. Sits down in bed and gets up every single day. So you need to be doing things that your body is going to be doing throughout the day. And then looking at, so there's some things that like everybody should be doing, and then you have to look at somebody's history of injuries or limitations, hip replacements, knee replacements type of thing. So how you need to adjust how they can move. So try to start from basically just very small building blocks and seeing what a person can do and then how to get them to be able to do other things. I try to, and everybody's different too based on their goals. So some people want to be stronger, some people want to lose weight, some people want to prepare for certain events or profession type things. So it's very different. So before I work with any client, I sit down with them, ask them a lot of questions based on their history in fitness.
Like a consultation type.
Yeah. Their goals and what they're trying to do. Obviously, their limitations and injuries. And then kind of once you get through what they're wanting out of personal training, you can kind of see where you go from there. So there's never a
cookie cutter.
Do these 10 exercises for every single person. It's very different for everybody.
Right.
But
what was the most unexpected lesson you learned about human motivation while helping people achieve their fitness goals?
Unexpected lesson. That's a tough question. I think it's just kind of what's important to everybody. So there's never a one size fits all for somebody. So it's really, if somebody is interested in personal training, you can come at it from somebody who is used to somebody in my position of that person just wants to lose weight.
Right.
And I can look at somebody, and if I see like, I think this is what they want, and that's almost never the case. So they might just want to feel more comfortable in their body. They don't care about the weight, but they just want confidence. Or they want to, somebody who wants to, I had somebody who really wanted to join the police academy, and he like couldn't do the exercises. So it's,
so they all come in with really different goals. You just gotta figure out how to get them there.
My specific certification, which I think helped me a lot, because every personal training certification is different. Some of them focus more on the body, the muscles, like so a lot more in depth on anatomy. And my certification focused a lot more on the mental part of personal training. So like, it helped a lot with finding those motivations with people better. So sitting down with somebody for an extra 10 minutes before they actually start training and seeing like what really drives them, rather than trying to tell them what exercises move each specific muscle and what that does. So that doesn't translate to most people who are brand new to fitness. It's
Right.
more about why they want to get up and go to the gym every day. So that helped me, just sitting down and really figuring out what made people tick and why they wanted to be there and why they were interested in it. So
That's pretty interesting. What is the most important non-fitness skill that you developed as a trainer?
non-fitness skill.
Such as like active listening.
I was already kind of more of a listener. I'm a lot more introverted than extroverted, so I prefer to listen rather than talk. I think one thing that's not really fitness related that has become more important to me since starting training is time.
In what way?
And so in personal training, people are basically paying you for 30 minutes or an hour of their day. And so how do I get the most out of that person in that amount of time? So trying to be very mindful of how I can best take advantage of that person's time and not waste their time. Because if somebody wants to train for an hour, I can sit down and talk to them for an hour, but they're trying to work with me to like get better at something,
right.
Or get closer to some goal. So trying to utilize that time the best, and makes me more mindful of like what I'm doing every day and whatever time I have. So rather than being lazy with my time or someone else's time, and I try to make the most out of what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
It's really cool that you said time management was the one that stuck out the most.
Yeah, there's lots of different things and lessons I've had from personal training, but I think that's one of the important things that kind of sticks with me in everything that I'm doing.
To those unable to afford a gym membership, what are the basic things that someone can do at home?
You can do a lot with body weight or small things. So it kind of depends on what you have access to. If you can't leave your house, you can do air squats, sit up and down in a chair. You can do some type of push-ups. You can do some type of just step-ups where you're just getting your heart rate going.
Because I like to run a lot, but it's hard to run when colder it gets.
Yeah, it is hard to run in the cold. You can jump up and down, do jumping jacks. And it kind of depends on what you're wanting to do, but anyone can do something. And if you're starting from the couch, you can just walk around during commercials. You can do leg raises. You can do step ups and just get moving. You can walk up and down stairs. Stairs are great cardio if you use them just for that. And you can walk around your neighborhood. I know we live in a hilly area, so that's not always super accessible. A lot of gravel driveways and everything. There's a lot you can do though, without paying for a gym membership. But
I know a lot of people, because I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but they're like, well, I don't have $40 extra every month or whatever it may be, but I can go home and do the same type things and still exercise the same muscles.
Yeah. Watch some YouTube videos. There's a million influencers on YouTube who have at-home workouts with zero weights or just bands and things. That's one nice thing about the technology now is you don't need to necessarily pay for a personal trainer. You can watch videos, and it's sometimes that coming just from personal training background, some people do need the extra motivation of, I have an appointment with this person I can't break, so that's going to get me to the gym.
Kind of like hold some that personal accountability.
Yeah. But if you're actually motivated, put on a YouTube video on your TV and just follow along for 10, 15 minutes is great.
Was there ever clients that you had that like you had to bring kind of motivate a little more than others, or like the minute they kind of got around you, they kind of got a little pumped?
Yeah. I've had every range of clients throughout working, and some of them, they were there because they just wanted somebody to talk to, and right. I'm there for that. And then there were some people who, and I'm not a yeller as a personal trainer, but there were some people that wanted that. So that was kind of the role I had to do that I didn't necessarily want to do. But where they didn't want me to let them quit. And so that's, some people I want to be pushed well beyond their limits, and some people want to just get in a stable routine and kind of find their groove. So it depends on the person.
Did you ever have people that when you tried to push them because you knew they could get more, they kind of had a little pushback?
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that?
Yeah.
How did you battle that?
It depends on the person for sure. Because I obviously want people to be safe. So if somebody is...
You don't want somebody to get injured, but...
Yeah, you don't want somebody to be injured. You can usually tell when somebody is able to do a little bit more, and sometimes that is literally helping them lift something or do one more so they can feel themselves doing it. So like the idea of a spotter to like help them do one more really helps that mental block of saying I can't do this.
Right.
It's so dependent on the person and the exercise, on like what that looks like for helping someone. A lot of times somebody might say they can't do it, and so we stop and then we talk about it and try it again, and saying like, giving them a warning of, hey, we're going to try this again. We're going to do it 10 times instead of 8. And when you get to that point, I'm going to help you get those last two, because that motivation of getting through those last couple reps is it's kind of the breaking point of when you're going to start making your progress. So,
yeah. Kind of a different question here. Did your desire to achieve something ever take you down an unhelpful path?
Yes. I'd say the fitness industry in general is very, and so coming from a religious background, the fitness industry is very a lot of focus on how you look,
right,
rather than like what's inside of you. So when I was doing it full time, working 50, 60 hours a week, training people, and I was like in the gym all the time. So, and I was in a area where it was in Florida, so it's very different than North Carolina. It's warm all the time. It's swimsuit season all year round. So getting that mindset of how I look is the most important thing about me. So that translated to me as a trainer is like, I want it to look the best possible. And there was just everyone around me felt the same way. And so having to fight that instinct of, no, there's much more important things than
just physical,
looking like a model, having your six pack and having whatever, you can lift so much or you can do whatever. That is not the most important thing. I think the most important thing in the fitness world is just healthy habits, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So that while it was, when I was doing it a lot, was a rewarding time for learning a lot about people in the fitness industry, that was also kind of a big hurdle for me, was kind of getting out of that mindset of just looks are the most important thing. And so I'm glad that I'm at where I'm at now, especially, but that was a big hurdle, just being in the industry for so heavily.
What kind of shifted your mindset? At what point during that journey was you able to shift, and was there like a pivotal moment?
Yes, there was. And I'm not going to name any names of influential gyms that I was at, but there was other employees that I was working that had, so there was a sales team for personal training, and then there was the personal trainers. And the sales team was making these outlandish promises to people about what they get out of personal training that I know I can't deliver on as a personal trainer, that are just, you'll lose 10 pounds in a month, or
well, there's so many factors that kind of weigh into
that. And they also did some underhanded things of I don't know if you know that, like the body fat calipers, but they're like electronic body fat calipers, and so you put in your height and weight to measure your body fat percentage.
Right.
And so if somebody was 200 pounds, they would put in 220 pounds. So it made their body fat percentage much higher. And then when I do it, because you would track it every month, like what your percentage was, the next month, their body fat percentage would drop dramatically, because I don't measure the extra 20 pounds. I measure their 200 pounds.
The true.
So they would see that initial crazy drop, and then the following month they would be at their actual weight, and then so that second month there would be not as significant of a drop. So people's expectations would be lowered. Even though they were making great progress, they weren't making that drastic progress. But some of those underhanded things that I was like, this is dishonest, and they're lying to people, and I don't want to be a part of that. So I left that gym and went to a different gym where I was like, I don't want to support this or be a part of it. And
Well, it
just
also
because
kind of
I
goes
like to
against some of
be.
your values as a
Yeah,
person.
yeah. As a Christian, I can't support just blatantly lying to people, and so I've always tried to be very honest about expectations for people, what I can offer them realistically, and like what they need to be doing. So that changed my mindset a lot when I was like, because I had gotten, I think, successful at that gym, and I was making a lot of money at that gym, but it was like, I can't, it's not worth it.
But then you
Me
understand the
personally,
backside
yeah.
of it.
It's not worth it for me personally to like do this and then have to be like lying to people and then having to cover up other people's lies. I was just like, this, I can't do that. So that's when I left that gym and went to a different gym, which I'm glad I did, for a lot of reasons. Met my wife at the other gym, and made a lot of friends that I'm still friends with, even though I'm several states away. But that was a big turning point for me in that mindset of like,
Do you think that happens more times than not? Like, I don't want to use the word manipulation, but kind of like misleading
in the fitness industry or in general?
in the fitness world. Even when it pertains to like the influencers type,
Yeah, for sure.
because they promise these quick results, but they
Yeah.
don't see you got to do this stuff for 6 months before it pays off.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and some people, I don't follow a ton of, don't do a ton of social media, but used to a lot, and there are some fitness influencers who are like very honest with you and very encouraging for people starting out, and there are some that are just try to sell quick fixes to things, whether that's unhealthy habits or just like them knowing like they're just going to get some money out of you and then drop you and don't care. So there's definitely some dishonesty in that field, which I think is hard for the people who are just want to get healthier.
Right.
And my kind of stance as a personal trainer, which is not great financially, is I want to basically put myself out of a job. So I don't want you to be with me for 5 years. Like, I want to work with you for a couple months until you can do this on your own, and like teach you how to get into just build up the routine and the habit of getting in the gym regularly, and then I want you to do it by yourself.
Right.
I want you to learn how to grow, and I kind of have the same mentality through everything. Like, I want you to learn how to learn this by yourself. So it's not good for me keeping clients and having a steady stream if I'm trying to get rid of clients. But that's kind of what I want for most clients, is like, I don't want you to be here forever. I want you to get better to where you don't need me to.
Have you had clients to where they know that they can do it on their own, but they just like the thought of somebody being there to encourage them?
Yeah, for sure. I have people who they don't want to be in a group exercise class, but they don't want to work out by themselves. So I'm basically just a workout partner who they just talk to, and that's fine if that's what they really want. But if they're wanting results, and especially if they don't have the money to have a trainer full time, I'm like, go, let me show you what to do, how to progress, and then you do it by yourself. But there are some people who they want somebody to meet with them twice a week for an hour and talk to them, and they can work out while they do it. So it's different for everybody, and if that's what they want, then that's fine.
Right.
But that's most of the time that's not what people want. So that's an exception to the rule, I would say.
If you could implement one program to improve public health, what would it be and why?
One program to help public health.
Whether it's kind of like food, something in the school system? It could vary,
Yeah.
really.
I have very different. I would have very different answers if you asked me for specific demographics. So whether that's kids, adults, or older adults, my answers would be very different.
For an example, let's say 18 to 32.
1832.
Put you on the spot a little bit.
It does. I would like to see just more people have access to, and everyone has access to information with YouTube or Google or whatever. But like access to some type of fitness location would be like having, and so like YMCA's I think do a great job of that, of having sliding scales for financial assistance with memberships. I think is great for someone who can't like afford the membership, really needs it.
Right.
They have. I'm not the membership director here, so I can't say they'll cut you a deal on your rate, but generally YMCA's do that. But people having more access to a fitness facility, and then I think just coming from the background of fitness, I think group exercise classes are underrated.
Really?
I think it's all like I loved teaching them and I like doing them. It's not for everybody, but just getting into a class, and it's not all. Tons of men do them, so that's kind of a thing. Is that's for women. Tons of men do group exercise classes. It's fun. You get to be a little bit more competitive with people in your class. If that's your thing, you get to have the community of people in the class that are doing the same thing as you. So that might be my answer, is just like go try a class, go get in the group exercise class, or find a workout partner.
You talked about the affordability portion, making it more affordable for people, and the group part. What are the benefits of both, and how do you think it would affect us going forward if that was something that was implementable?
So what I think is especially about a group or a just a workout partner. So coming from the personal training background, most people start with a personal trainer just because they need motivation to get in the gym.
Right.
So having another person who knows, like, this is my goal. I want to get in the gym for 20 minutes, 3 times a week. And so having somebody else who is like able to be there with you and say, hey, did you go to the gym today? Or going with you and saying, hey, I'm in the parking lot, where are you at? Or people, like I have taught lots of group exercise classes, and when somebody misses a week, people call them and they ask them the next day, like, hey, where were you in class today? Like, we missed you. So having just that motivation of, there are people who want me there. And not everybody feels like that when they go into in a fitness facility of, I belong here. But having an extra person or an entire group of people who know your name, who check in with you, like, that's a huge motivation for
that
someone.
sense of community, kind of.
Yeah. And we've definitely lost some of that in kind of just the world we're in. We're more connected than ever, but farther apart than ever,
right.
Socially. So having that person or group just to say, hey, where were you today? Or, hey, it's 15 minutes till I work out, let's get there, is huge. So
in the past, how did you balance the importance of nutrition versus workout routines?
For me personally, or for other people?
Let's go both.
Let's go both. Okay. I would start out as a personal trainer, start out every informational session with somebody. So just like a consultation to say, I'm not a nutritionist. Because if any information I give And if you follow it and then say, Steven told me to do this, and you have
Backfires.
allergies or anything, I don't want that responsibility. But it's very important. I think I love ice cream. I love cookies and whatever.
Guilty pleasure there.
But I don't, I try not to. My wife might say I eat more than I should. But I just try to do things in moderation. So that's kind of what I would tell other people is log what you eat so kind of how I did a diabetes prevention instructor class. So I was the instructor for it, and we would have people just track every single thing they ate for, and if they do it differently now, don't say they might do it differently now because they still do the program with the YMCA.
Right.
But they tracked everything people ate for, I think it was 2 weekdays and then a weekend day, just to kind of see where you're at. And then if you actually see it on paper of like, holy crap, I ate 25 Oreos today, when you were just going by and snacking, you can kind of see a lot of stuff you can cut out easily that can help you. You could say, I drank 6 Mountain Dews today and it didn't feel like it. So I would tell people more so to just write down what you're eating. Don't change anything right now. Just make sure you're writing it down. And once you see it on paper, you can kind of see like, hey, that's something I can do less of that's going to help me in the long run. And I did the same thing with me personally. A lot of times, especially when I was into like trying to be a lot more fit than I am now, I was tracking what I was eating a lot more, and it's very important. I think there's room for snacks and everything else, but we'll just try to just find a baseline of where people are at and what they're eating, and then just try to say, hey, let's not do the second carton of ice cream. Let's work on other things. And just try to tell people to eat more protein or eat less snacks and doing less things. And I think obviously people's goals are different. I've had several high schoolers who are wanting to play football or get stronger, and I'm like, eat everything in the house, whatever you can. Put on some weight so we can help build muscle. And then the people who are wanting to lose weight, where I'm like, hey, let's eat a little bit less and just start moving more. And I think the biggest thing for me as a trainer is just I don't do it to where like professional athletes where they need every single calorie needs to be counted and needs to be perfect. So mine's very general, typically, let's eat some chicken rather than ice cream. So very general rules for nutrition, just because I'm not a nutritionist and I don't do food
I just wondered how
plans,
that balanced out as far as...
It's very so it's important for me to say it's important. I don't give strict instructions on what to eat, but for some people it has to be a mix of eating and being active in some way. So not everybody has to go to the gym, but you do need to be active and moving around in some way, whether that's pickleball or golf or swimming. Like there's tons of things you can do to keep moving, and all of it's great. You don't have to run 10 miles a day. You can walk, you can ride a bike, you can do...
But you can't be
everything.
counterproductive, though, in the same... You can't go run 5 miles and then come home and eat your chips on the couch.
Yeah. So that's one thing, too, is just trying to eat the right things just so you recover and you have the energy to do the same thing or more the next day. So you do want to...
At least moderation.
You want to eat some good things. and not just potato chips. And
Well, you talked about like counting calories and protein. Is there good and bad protein? Like that?
there, I don't do a whole lot. I'm not gonna say much about what you should and should be eating, because I don't eat perfectly, and I don't get into it a ton. So there's definitely things that are better versus things that are worse, and there's also a million opinions on what you shouldn't and shouldn't be eating, like versus so some people are saying strict carnivore diets, which I've done and I enjoyed it, where it's like eat any and all meats and anything that comes from animals and like you're good, versus people who say only eat your lean meats like chicken and
Is there
stay away
diets
from your
that
fatty meats.
Is there diets that have worked better for you?
I did the carnivore diet, and it was not for it was for inflammation.
Right.
That is why I did it for three months, and was not doing it to lose weight, but lost a ton of weight. And a lot of people who have done it for losing weight have had like awesome
Results.
results. And that's not, for most people, it's not a long-term diet. It's like a short-term diet, because it's only anything that comes from an animal, like that's what you can eat and nothing else. So eggs, milk, meat, cheese, like you can eat any of that and then nothing else. So that was, out of different diets that I've done, that was the most, like I saw the most significant changes in a short time.
Was there ever a diet that you were like, hey, I'm gonna try that, and you was like, you debunked it? It's like, this don't work.
Yes. And I've tried like some things like that where I was like, some of it was just not worth it to me. Where it was like, if there's results, like I'm not seeing it, and I'd rather not eat this stuff that doesn't taste good. And some of it was just like supplemental things where it was not a full-on diet of like a Whole30 diet. It wasn't like something like that where it was, but it was just like, I'm gonna eat more of this thing, and then I was like, it doesn't taste good, it's not worth it to me. So I think it's very different. And I've not done a ton of strict dieting, so because I've never been like, I've been more or less healthy weight and everything, so and I've never wanted to like compete in bodybuilding or anything, so right. I've never been like super strict on dieting for me personally. So
to follow up that question, how does rest and sleep come into play?
It's huge. Yeah, if you're not sleeping, you're not gonna be able to function the next day. And so resting, a lot of times what I tell people is just like active rest. So especially after hard workouts, people think resting means sitting on the couch, and I'm like, do not do that. You're going to be more sore than if you went for a walk. So like a lot of times in prescribing people workout plans is a rest day, but an active rest day.
Right.
So get up and walk around, go out and garden, get out and just walk around your neighborhood, and get your body moving so your muscles can work and they're not just sitting and tightening up. So like, I don't know why I have so many times where me personally working out, I'll do a leg day right before a big road trip and I have to drive like 10 hours. And then I can't walk when I get out of the car because I've been sitting after a leg workout, and I'm like, you can't do that. You got to get moving, stretch your legs. So that's important. Sleep is crazy important, and especially a good schedule. So not even getting a consistent 8 hours, but getting on a consistent schedule where you're waking up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time every day, so your body gets used to that. So like I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning and go work out, and it's like, if I told somebody to do that who doesn't do it, if I told them to wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, they would laugh at me or tell me I'm crazy.
Right.
But like once you get into that routine, it's not a big deal to do that. So getting rest and getting sleep is huge. So don't overlook it.
To switch things up a little bit, how has being a father changed the way you look at the world?
It changes everything. So one of the reasons I've always kind of been an early riser, but like one of the reasons I personally work out at 4 is to work out before my kids wake up. I want to be there when they wake up. I want to do breakfast with them and hang out with them, see them in the mornings. I want to be with them at night. And so from a physical, like fitness related thing, is I never want to get to the point where I can't get down on the ground and can't play with them, or when they're older I still want to be able to get down and play with grandkids. So I want to be able to just move and function properly as I age. So that's a big focus, is just your activities of daily lives. Is I want to be able to grab my kids and throw them in the air. I want to be able to do those things. So that's part of the reason why I want to stay. I don't have to be a fitness model, but I want to be physically active enough to do those things. Still want to be able to throw the kids around, throw them on the couch. And so for them too, I want our kids to be active and healthy, whether they're playing sports, and even if they're terrible, I want them to be out there being active and doing other things, running around in the yard.
That's pretty cool, man. Everyone talks about success. Very few ask about the sacrifices you make to achieve it. What's something you have sacrificed in order to have success?
It depends on how you label success.
Well, I guess that would be a follow-up question. What is success to you? And how have you sacrificed to achieve it?
I think personally, I get my satisfaction and reward from my family. My having a happy and healthy marriage and kids, that's success to me. Being able to put food on our table is successful to me. So we don't go on vacations every month. We don't have money for that. But I enjoy spending time with my wife and with my kids. So that's successful to me. And that does, I think, we had our first kid, and when we were first trying to have a kid, I was like, we're not financially prepared for this. I was like, I don't know if we can afford a kid right now, but I wouldn't change it for the world, even though
I don't think nobody's
if
ever
we
really
had,
ready.
Yeah, if we had an extra couple $1,000s in the bank versus having a kid, I was like, no, this is much more worth it. So I think having that would be a sacrifice of just maybe being in a better spot financially before having a kid. I sacrificed that in order to like start our family, and I think that was worth it, and I wouldn't change that for the world. Other sacrifices, I enjoy sleep, but I try to wake up early every day just so I can, even if I'm not lifting the most weight in the gym, I'm trying to be there, just do healthy habits, just so I can. That will help me long term, help me with the, and then I get to be with the kids more. So I think, I don't know, it depends on what you think is success is. I have my own opinions.
Right.
For me, it's not making the most money or having the nicest car or going on the nicest trips. So that's not successful to me.
But you're willing to sacrifice your personal rest in order to still spend time with your family.
Yeah. Having my kids excited to see me and my wife excited to see me is successful to me. But I think everybody's different what they want. So
As your wife and kids, I'm sure they appreciate hearing that.
I hope so. Kids won't understand it yet, but
One
my
day.
wife will.
Before we finish up, I like to leave all those who listen and watch the podcast with a final thought from my guest. If you could give mental health advice to anyone in the world, what would you let them know? Or what would you tell them?
Mental health advice.
Because it's such a broad
Yeah.
thing and people deal with so much today.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of talking to somebody. I think some people might say find a therapist and talk to them. But go to a church for sure. Get involved in a church. So not just go and sit, come 5 minutes late, leave 5 minutes early at church, but go sit down at church and get involved with them. At our church, we're big on home groups, which is meeting once a week outside of our church service, so you get to know people on a deeper level and talk about real things that are happening in your personal life that you don't get on a Sunday morning. And then you create relationships with other people that you have your one-on-one mentor relationship. So find somebody in a so whatever position your life in, if you want to be a better husband, find somebody who's a great husband and ask them questions one-on-one and say like, hey, what do I need to do this? If you want to be a better fitness, be at a better fitness level, find somebody who's at a better fitness level and talk to them. I think most people are willing to have conversations with you if you ask them questions, but we're often afraid to ask people questions. And I know we're talking about a fitness, more fitness related today. So somebody who's brand new in a gym is like, they will look at somebody who you can tell they're no stranger to a gym and they're very physically fit, and they would say, I can't talk to them. We're not in the same league. But if you ask them questions, more often than not, they're going to be there and they want to help you succeed. So I think honestly, so as a Christian, everything I think goes back to Christ. And so go to a church, get involved, but also just ask people questions who are more successful than you in what you're trying to do in whatever stage that is. So for your mental health wise, like, go talk to somebody.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Go find somebody who's better than you and ask them how to get better. And like they're gonna help you.
Yeah.
I think.
I appreciate that perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming to the show and sharing with us.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. Enjoyed it.